And she does such a good job of getting to her spots and getting what she wants. And I thought her facilitating tonight was outstanding as well.
Welcome to Ballgorithm USA. This is more than a game. This is Ballgorithm USA. The arena lights blaze down like a second sun. In the heart of Phoenix, the Mercury step forward, welcoming the Indiana Fever to their home turf. The air is thick with tension, the crowd restless, waiting for the first heartbeat of the game. The whistle slices through the noise. We are underway. The Fever, stripped of their brightest star, Caitlin Clark, are still here to prove something. She's missed so much playing time, her body battered by a series of relentless injuries. But even without her, this team carries a defiant heartbeat. Aliyah Copper wastes no time. She glides into the lane, rises with precision, and kisses the ball off the glass. The first strike of the night. The Mercury bench erupts, the crowd's roar spilling over the edges of the court. Eric McDonald, fresh off a game where she sank 10 free throws against these same Fever, knows one thing. Phoenix can't afford to foul this Indiana squad. Not tonight. Not with the stakes this high. Only days ago, these two teams clashed in Indianapolis, ending July with a high-scoring end-to-end war. Tonight promises no less. Copper, relentless, adds two more, slicing through the Fever defense, like a hot knife through butter. 4 quick points. The message is clear. She came to dominate. Indiana's head coach, Stephanie White, stands on the sideline, eyes sharp. She knows adjustments must be made. Copper can't be allowed to feast in the paint. The Fever defense begins to sag. Boston positioned deep to guard the drive. Boston, strong as steel, sets a brutal screen, turning the corner, scanning for options. The ball swings, hands change. The offense searches for its rhythm. Boston crashes for the rebound, arms stretching into the lights, pulling the ball from the sky. On the other end, Copper takes McDonald baseline, attacking with raw power. Great hands keep her in check, but Copper's footwork is surgical. A pivot, a lean, the soft kiss off the glass. Old school basketball at its finest. A reminder echoes through the broadcast. Has dropped consecutive triple-doubles. And then, the crowd explodes as Kelsey Mitchell lets it fly from deep. The ball arcs like poetry, splashing through the net. This is the Mitchell the Fever trust. An all-star, a sniper, a warrior. Mitchell's defense bites on the other end, forcing a tough shot. Cunningham tries to bully her way inside, only to dish out to Howard. The whistle blows late, but the call is offensive. Howard, coming off a blistering 27-point game, can't believe it. Hands to the sky, a silent protest. Boston keeps working, her double-double mindset unshaken. The Fever keep pressing forward, their shots finding the net, their energy refusing to bow. The hot shooting continues, and this game, from the opening tip, already feels like a storm. The second quarter begins with a hum of electricity in the air. The Phoenix Mercury, hungry for redemption, stalk the hardwood with the kind of silent menace only a team with something to prove can carry. A 6-game losing streak to this Indiana. Fever squad hangs over them like a shadow, heavy, unrelenting. Tonight is about breaking that chain. CP makes her move early. A smooth pivot, a shoulder drop, and she rises, releasing with that textbook shooting form. The crowd holds its breath, but it kisses the front rim and bounces away. A groan rolls through the stands, quickly replaced by the pounding drumbeat of defense. The ball ricochets, Mack slides in, extending her reach like a predator pouncing on its prey. Natasha Mack, the Mercury's defensive wall, now has a singular mission: contain Boston. The two are a clash of styles and wills. Boston's brute force against Mack's anticipation and timing. Thomas, eyes scanning like a chess master, searches for the cutter. The Mercury want movement, slicing cuts and fast hands. This isn't just about scoring. This is about snapping a curse. The Fever have owned them, and every player in orange feels the weight of that history. The scoreboard still favors Indiana. The Mercury can sense the window closing. Their arena, PHX Arena, becomes a cauldron of sound. Not just cheers, but an unspoken demand. End this streak. Sammy Whitcomb pushes up the floor with the ball, her feet barely touching the hardwood. She creates space with a crisp hesitation dribble before floating a pass over the top. A beauty. But the finish doesn't come. The fever, relentless in pursuit, collapse like a wave, swallowing the shot. On the next possession, Boston works her angles. She seals deep in the paint, her back to Mac. The entry pass is clean, the footwork deliberate, spin, step, lift. The crowd rises with her and gasps as the ball slides off the rim. Boston's frustration is brief. She knows the long game, knows that shots will fall if she keeps pounding the paint. And then Mac again, sprinting, hustling, refusing to be just a defensive presence. She's a force in transition, her hands in passing lanes, her body a moving wall. Phoenix's bench rises in approval. Kelsey Mitchell, Indiana's relentless scorer, finds the seam in transition. She pulls up without hesitation. The ball arcs, spinning through the air like a promise. Swish. The Fever bench erupts. They've seen this version of Mitchell before, the one who can torch a defense in minutes. The Mercury, however, are not rattled. They work the ball into the corner, a quick release from Bonner, one of the league's most seasoned assassins from mid-range. The shot clanks, but there's Bonner again, following her own miss, clawing for the board. It's more than a rebound. It's history in motion. With that grab, Bonner moves to number 8 on the all-time WNBA rebounding list. The crowd rises in appreciation. Even Fever fans in the arena have to respect that kind of career achievement. But there's no time to savor it. Indiana has the ball, and Sammy Cunningham drives baseline, forcing help defense from Westbeld. The rotation is clean, the lane closes, and the ball is stripped. Turnover. Now it's Phoenix running. Full speed, heart pounding. The ball zips ahead, but in an instant, it's poke-checked away. The Fever's defense once again snuffs out what looked like an easy transition bucket. The pace slows for a heartbeat. The Mercury regroup, ball in Lexi Hull's hands. She's fresh off the bench, and her impact is immediate, a steal in the backcourt. The crowd surges, sensing a momentum shift. But instead of taking the shot herself, Hull threads a pass inside to Bonner. The veteran rises, flicks her wrist, no good. Still, the Mercury refuse to let the play die. Satu Sabali crashes the boards, her hustle palpable. It's this relentlessness that keeps Phoenix alive. The broadcast reminds viewers of the stakes. In Game 1, Indiana scored a staggering 46 points in the paint, utterly dismantling Phoenix inside. Tonight, that script must be rewritten if the Mercury want their revenge. The Fever know it. The Mercury know it. The crowd knows it. And as the horn signals the next timeout, the energy in PHX Arena feels like the moment before a storm. Still, but brimming with the promise of chaos. The desert heat outside was nothing compared to the fire building inside the arena tonight. The hardwood gleamed under the bright Phoenix lights, but it wasn't just the floor that shined. It was the tension, the history, the unspoken grudges that lit the court on fire. This was more than just the final stretch of a game. This was about pride, about proving something, about silencing old ghosts and writing new chapters. The ball was loose, a scramble, a collision of limbs, sneakers squealing across the polished floor. Long ball not there, the call came. But here, nothing ever came easy. Up for grabs meant bodies diving, elbows locking, hands reaching desperately as if the game itself were slipping through their fingers. Garbage time for Dantas? Maybe for some, but not in this war. Every second still felt like it mattered. Every possession carried weight. And remember, there had been so much emotion coming into this matchup. Players who had been traded, cut, reunited. People who knew each other's weaknesses and weren't afraid to exploit them. For some, like Dewana Bonner, returning to Phoenix wasn't just a road trip. It was a homecoming, a reminder of championships, battles, and nights when this building roared for her, not against her. She had come from Indiana once, back then as the Bright Hope. Now she was wearing the other colors, the enemy's jersey. The crowd remembered, and they let her know. Thomas tried to muscle her way in, but couldn't get it home. Bonner, with that long frame and instinct for the ball, came flying in to snatch it. The fans erupted, not in cheers, but in a mixture of nostalgia and hostility. She was theirs once, but now she was the outsider. She had lasted just 9 games back in Indiana before things soured. Sometimes it's the team, sometimes it's the player, sometimes it's both. This time, it had ended with silence and separation. Now she was here, back in the fold of Phoenix, the city that had shaped her legacy. Across from her, Kalia Copper crouched low, eyes locked, a predator waiting for a misstep. Bonner tried to back her down, but Kelsey Mitchell slid into position, quick, sharp, like she'd been studying this move her whole life. The Mercury probed. Pass, dribble, hesitation, and then, you bet, the crowd roared as Phoenix capitalized on second chances, crashing the boards like the rim owed them money. Offensive rebounding wasn't just a skill tonight, it was a statement. Biggest lead of the game, 18-10. It might not sound like much, but in a game this tight, every inch felt like a mile. Mitchell, never afraid of the moment, stepped back with that smooth rhythm of hers. The shot missed, but Lexi Hull was right there to snatch the rebound. Hull, who never needed a second invitation to pull the trigger, reset the offense. She could. Hear her bench shouting, urging, pushing. She glanced up court, seized the lane. A long lead pass, threading through traffic like a needle. This was where Indiana's hustle showed. The Mercury weren't just playing defense. They were laying traps, great rotations, quick switches. But inside, Aliyah Boston planted herself, like a wall. The rookie didn't just defend, she imposed her will. She swallowed space, forced Phoenix to take awkward angles, and made sure the paint belonged to Indiana. On the other end, Sammy Whitcomb showed her own kind of intelligence. Sometimes the smartest play isn't the flashy one, it's the pause. The way she slowed the ball up for McDonald, letting the offense breathe, letting the crowd hold its breath. 10 seconds on the shot clock. McDonald, left-handed, all the way to the rim with her strong side. It was fearless, aggressive. But Hull was there again. This wasn't just a game of skill, it was a battle of personalities. Hull and Bonner had been locked in a physical chess match all night. Bonner trash-talked with that veteran swagger, leaning into the tension. She remembered the last time these two met, back in Indiana at the end of July, when the booze had rained, down on her every touch. It was personal now. The Mercury fed off their crowd's energy. Every bucket, every defensive stop was gasoline on a fire. And then, boom. A step right into the passing lane. A steal. The building shook. The lead hit double figures. This wasn't just momentum, it was a tidal wave. Mitchell wasn't done. She hesitated, drawing her defender just enough out of position. She didn't need much. A slight shift, a gap, and she was gone. 8 points already and still burning. Her crossover was sharp, slicing through Phoenix's defensive shell. But over the top came the help.